Alright, welcome guys from a stormy day here in Ayutthaya. It's rainy season, so every day can be rainy. Anyway, we're going to check out one of the other major temples. This one used to be the Royal Palace, or the Royal Temple of Ayutthaya. So this is Wat Ratchaburana. And it's got some murals, it's got some pretty cool buildings. It's got two chedis from two princes that were cremated here. And so anyway, let's look around and see what we see. Okay, so here's what the temple looked like when it was in operation. So it had the central prong, all the little chedis. It's been quite amazing. Okay, so getting in, they have a little ticket you got to do. So it's 50 baht to get in, but it's part of the 6-temple tour that you can do for 220 baht. So you can do 6 temples for 220, or you can do 1 temple for 50 baht. Or if you're Thai, it's 10 baht. So let's go in here and let's look around. This one here is really a nice temple, so this should be fun. So you can see the outer wall, and then it had the 4 gates to get in here. This is what's left of the gate. You can still see a little bit of the plaster, but most of the detail work is gone. And then they had the main hall right here. So this one's the Royal Sermon Hall. And you can see what's left of it. So most of the plaster is gone, but there's a little bit over the door. And then it had all the other little outer buildings. So this is in central Ayutthaya, on the main part of the island. It's not too far from where the Grand Palace was at. And again, all of this was destroyed when the Burmese took over. I think this temple was built like in 1424 or so. I can't remember exactly, but that was when it was first constructed. And then you can see right through the door here. That's really cool. This is the normal photo op spot. And then all the rest of the little outer buildings, all the little chedis and everything have kind of fallen off over here. You can see the bases of them. Yeah, this is a great place right here. Definitely the photo of the temple. So there would have been 3 doors here. So I don't know if this would have been like the royal entrance in the middle or not. Some of the temples, there would have a special entrance, and this would have been a porch here on the front. There would have been a special entrance for the king. And then inside here, this is a massive building. So it would have had the roof supports here. Still, the walls are 2.5, 3 foot thick. And then up here would have been the main Buddha. And then you would have been able to leave the back of the building to go into where the prong is at. And that is fantastic. That is really, really nice. And looking out of one of the side doors, see they have, that chedi's in pretty good shape. And this would have been like the, what do they call that, the cloister or whatever, where it would have been an internal wall that would have had the seated Buddhas all around it. And then it would have had another little hall over here. There's not much left, just a little bit of the walls are still left. This is the north side of that Grand Sermon Hall. So this would have been a covered walkway here, and you can see one of the piers is still intact, and then some of the chedis that are over next to that central prong. Let's go in there and look around. You can see here part of the wall is still intact. So this would have went over and would have had a back porch here, and then this would have been the inside wall, and it would have had the ring of Buddhas all around. So all the Buddhas would have been facing the main central prong. You can see the base of those all right there. Yeah, this is a pretty cool ruin. And then you can see up here would have had like probably like a Buddha inside there. But I don't think there's anything in there now, just probably the birds and stuff. But the style of that looks like a middle Ayutthaya. So I don't know if it was restored or rebuilt later. But how cool is this? This is amazing. You can see the Naga, all the Garuda, everything on there. Oh, that is really cool. So the front entrance is blocked off, but you can go up in there from the side. So you can see the little chedi here. So it is saying that those are early Ayutthaya style. And then it has this wall here that would have had stucco. And then there's 3 entrances to this right here. Okay, so here's the side of that prong. You can see the stucco Buddha there, and we'll go up these stairs and go into that one right there. Yeah, this is spectacular. I like this one a lot. You got another little chedi back there. So I think the 2 chedis at the front there have the ashes of the 2 princes inside of them. The stairs are quite steep. That's really cool. So here's the other part of the temple here. This is really nice. So this other hall over here, this would have been accessed from right there from the inner wall. And in those chedis, most of it is gone. But those would have been also in the early Ayutthaya style. Same as these right here. So as you can see, Thai safety standards are in play here. There's absolutely no safety rail, no guardrail. But the way the Thais look at it is if you fall off, you shouldn't have been doing that. Kind of personal accountability. Okay, so last little staircase to get up in here. And this part here, they have restored it fairly recently. You can see those Naga, it's in way too good of a shape. So they restored it a little bit and then they let it weather to look older. Okay, so what this is down inside of here is this goes down into the crypt. Now, there was actually, when they were building these, like excavating, they would come in here and they would find like the central chamber where they kept all the valuable artifacts. And so down in there is where the crypt is at. And what happened was when they were restoring Wat Mahathat, which is right next to here, they came in here and they were going to restore this. And they dug down and they'd found that part of it had been looted already. So they continued to dig down into the crypt to find the artifacts. And the public pressured them to stop. So the people stopped digging and the police came and they arranged for a security guard or a police officer to guard this crypt so that nobody would get down there and loot anymore. So what happened was the police officer that was in charge of that actually arranged for the looters to come, and they stole like a couple 100 kilograms of gold or more. And some of it was restored, some of it or returned, some of it was not. So that's what's down in there, is the crypt. It's pretty cool, the construction here. It smells so much like guano from the bats. Now this was built by the 3rd son. The 2 older brothers were the ones that were killed, and they were killed in an elephant duel on the back of an elephant at a bridge like the Sampan Bridge or something like that. So they were brought and they were cremated, and then their ashes were put here. So let's go out and let's look some more at this temple. So this chedi looks like it's kind of leaning away from the central prong, and you can see inside that there used to be a Buddha or something like that inside there, but now it's just some little plants growing. And look at it from the back side here. You can see the electric wire where they have it to light up the very top of it at night. I don't think that was originally here in the 1400s. This is really cool around the bottom of this little building. All the heads are missing, but I think it would have been those like little guardian guys, like the half monkey, half man type thing. Another one of the little prongs that are in the Khmer style. This one's outside of the inner wall. And these would have been the octagonal shaped in the more of the Ayutthaya style. Yeah, this ruin is fantastic. So all of those chedis The four are on the principal, like the north, south, east, west, the cardinal directions. And they all have octagon bases, and the same as all the little chedis had octagon bases. And then the main central prong is in the Khmer style. I guess that's all early Ayutthaya period. I mean, they were not too far removed from, you know, the Khmer itself, the Khmer Kingdom. There was quite a few wars that happened between Ayutthaya and the Khmer. And the Khmer controlled, like, you know, Buriram, all of that. So they were still pretty influential, especially in the early days of Ayutthaya. Okay, so this is that building to the west of the central prong. And it is a big, big building. And as you can see, it's clearly designed like a boat, which that's more the middle to later Ayutthaya style. And then here has the little marker stones that would have been around this hall. And there would have been all around it to show, you know, where the abbot's responsibilities ended. And inside there's a little bit of the Buddha. So we'll go in and we'll look around inside of this hall. So here's up in that Ubasat. And this is the main hall, and it's to the west of the prong. And the Buddha would have been facing to the west. And there's not a whole lot left of it, just the mainly the foundation, a little bit of one of the roof supports, and a little bit of the walls. There's not a whole lot left, which this is a shame. This would have been probably a beautiful building, and it would have been quite tall also. And the main prong. So there was an entrance back here in this back corner, so you could have went outside of it to go to the inner part of the temple. And then you can see out in the trees that all the other little pagodas. So this Buddha would have been in a seated lotus position. You see just what's left of them. So they had they used bricks to make the body, and then they had to put the plaster and then covered it in gold probably. And around the temple, that's the Wat Mahathat, which is another one of the temples here. One of the 6 that you can do the tour of. And then here's looking into the complex itself. From here you can really see that one chedi is really leaning. And then that central prong. And then this one here that's in the Khmer style. And then all of these that are in really bad shape. These little chedis are in bad shape. But this is definitely really fun. I love stuff like this. I mean, Ayutthaya just has so much history, and it's a shame how much of it was destroyed, you know, when the Burmese came and destroyed it. Because this was a world-class city. There was 1 million people living here, and they all fled to Thonburi and Bangkok area or wherever. Another one of the buildings that you see here, that all that's left is the foundation, and then you can see the outer wall. And then another building over there with a little bit of the walls. This one had the Buddha sitting there. Yeah, this place is massive and really cool. Just to be able to see it, what it would have looked like would have been amazing. This temple is really cool. This is definitely worth a stop by to look at. Now this was the like the royal temple. So, you know, not too far away from here was the former Grand Palace. So the kings and all of the royals and everybody would come over here to it. And ever since this was built, they were always updating this. So they were always restoring, you know, it was probably in fantastic shape. And then when the Burmese came, you know, it was all destroyed, burned, and abandoned. And it just left to the jungle. So it doesn't take long for the jungle to overtake things. So, you know, this was definitely in some dire need of repair whenever the Fine Arts Department came back over here to restore it. All right, so I'll leave you with a couple of the old pictures from the Fine Arts Department of what the temple looked like whenever they were getting ready to restore it. So as always, guys, remember, like and share the video and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And remember, life is a journey. So until next time, from Ayutthaya, enjoy.